this is something that I've only been in the process of learning and promoting and educating others for about 6 months now. I think it's right about 6 months. And so I've really been trying to play catch up, and where these ladies have been the brains, I have tried to be the brawn to a small degree. And the only way that I knew to do anything about it, it was a question that kept persisting with me is, once I knew what was happening, what do I do about it? I didn't have all the facts. I didn't have, I don't have the background that these ladies do, but I knew something wasn't right, and I wasn't willing to go to bed thinking that my silence was promoting something that would be damaging to my children or to their future. And so that's where I started. So I just worked really, really hard to I've never used a clicker. This is very grassroots. See, this is my school board. I was a little scared to even show you where I was from because of the backlash, but there they are. Eastern High School, they did pass a resolution asking the Missouri State Legislature to stop the implementation of Common Core. They recognized this was more than I could have hoped for from them. I thought it would just be a 1 or 2 line sentence saying, please stop. They nailed it. They nailed it, didn't they, Mary? Mm-hmm. And they recognized it for what it was, and they asked the state legislature to pause the implementation of it until they could recognize and know the information that we know and become more educated about it. You are someone. That's my message today. This is pictures of my life this last year. I live on a farm. We have milk cows. Often when I'm talking to these ladies, I'm out milking the cow. So there they are. And we just, it's just a normal, I'm just a mom. I'm just a mom who lives on a farm, who I have worked really hard with my kids. I'm trying to raise children that know how to work, but I also care very much and very deeply about their education. And I am not willing to let these kinds of things happen after all of my hard work, to just pass it off to somebody and not understand what is happening with their education. So I'm just not willing to do it. And this is one of the other reasons. She's my 10-year-old girl, and one day when we were talking about the education, we've gone to levy meetings and had taken my daughter and our family to a levy meeting that our school board was having and asking for more money. And I asked the question, this is where it just kind of got introduced to me. So I asked the question, who pays for Common Core? That's all I knew. I needed to ask. My sister called me, somebody else called me, look, check into Common Core. So I thought, okay, here's an opportunity. Who pays for it? That's all I knew to ask. And he says, well, we do. And I was satisfied at that point with that answer. Okay, sounds good. So after the school board meeting, one of my school board members came up to me and said, you need to look into this. And I thought, okay, 3 times, something's up. I need to. My daughter also came home and told me, my 14-year-old told me that they were doing Common Core, a new curriculum. So after that, I thought, I'm going to stay up and I'm going to look into this. And I did. It was an all-night. I pulled an all-nighter. When my husband came up the stairs the next night, he said, well, what did you learn? Or the next morning, he said, what did you learn? I said, and I did. I just started to cry. I just said, something has to be done about this. And I was looking for someone else to do it. I'm busy. But as my husband and I were talking, my daughter later that night, my little Eden is her name, she said to me, Mom, what we need is George Washington. And I thought to myself, no parent likes to see a look of discouragement or despair in their child's eyes. She didn't understand what Common Core is. In fact, she asked me later, what is Common Core? All she knew is that I was concerned and that something was amiss. And so when we were talking about the issues of education and Common Core, she just knew somebody needed to fix it. So we needed George Washington. He was pretty dependable. So I thought about that for a moment, and that was a turning point for me. Because sitting across the room, there she was, and I just looked into those pretty blue eyes, and I just said, Eden, we can be George Washington. And I also feel very compelled because I think that our children, at least speaking for myself, it's hard to find examples of people who are willing to do hard things, models of people who are willing to stand up that are just people on the farm. We're just normal people. We're not experts. We're not You know, we're not out there in the public view, but that's why we did what we did. And I'm going to skip a lot of this. I know that we're short of time. This is one of the quotes that really spoke to my heart. The U.S. Supreme Court has said that education is perhaps the most important function of the state and local governments. Our system of local school districts and boards of education epitomizes representative and participatory government. Bingo. Okay, that's where I'm going to go. I can't do anything at Washington. I can't do anything maybe at my state level, but I can hit my school board. And so that's where we started. We went everywhere. Ministerial alliances, city council, it was me and my girlfriend. I even at one point, don't be afraid to ask people for help. I was desperate. There again, I lay my head on my pillow at night and think, look into those blue eyes. I have 5 kids. And I just thought, I can't do this. So I swallowed some pride, and I got on the internet, and I just asked for people. We're having a town hall meeting. I need somebody to sponsor a route. Every door direct mail is a great resource. So for flyers, I wanted to blanket my community, but it costs money, and it costs a lot of money. And so I just put it out there to people who I thought were like-minded, and I did. We got the whole, I think 4,000. We sent out 4,000 flyers. My husband only had to chip in a quarter of that, so he was grateful. Another thing we did is an I-petition. You can get online. It's a lot easier sometimes for people to share a link than it is to share a piece of paper that's a petition. But what I did is we went to the school, just to the community, and I went door to door. People I would never, and I'm a shy, I don't like public, I'm not into this kind of thing. But I will for my kids. And so I stopped door to door, and I went and just talked to neighbors and said, look. And the petition basically was to show the school board the community support for the school board's action. I was not trying to make it about me against the school board. I was trying to make it about a community-wide effort supporting the school board and their in their role as those public guardians. And then I asked a lot of questions. This is how, because I didn't want to show up and say, did you know about Common Core? I asked a lot of questions so that they would be hopefully willing to learn about themselves. We did a lot of thank yous. I spent a third of my time writing handwritten notes. Because you have to fall back and keep those people with you, and they need to recognize that their efforts, time is a hard and a precious commodity, and they needed to know that I appreciated it. So, okay, this is the one quote that I loved. This actually just came to me. A school teacher, an English school teacher. He's actually a colonel in the Air Force. He's retired. But now he's an English teacher, and he sent this to me. It was a National Council of Teachers of English 2013. It was a report, I think it was. But one of the comments in there just really struck me, and it says, public education has a long history of compliance. Yes. The compliant student, the compliant teacher, the compliant school, and the compliant parent, if I can add that. That history of compliance has been built on norms that silence. Students told to be quiet, teachers told to be objective, and schools told to implement without questioning bureaucratic policy. Compliance and silence have never been and never will be the lifeblood of agency, democracy, and freedom. Compromise between right and wrong equals always wrong. Silence and inaction are always perpetrating the status quo. And so that just spoke to me again too. Yes, we are doing the right thing, even if you feel like you don't get very far. Some people will say, I don't have time to go to a board meeting. I don't have time for this, or I don't have time to go to Jefferson City. Write a card. You will be inspired to do something within your realm of influence that will make a difference. You will be surprised at how much a handwritten note will mean to somebody, to a representative, to a senator, anything like that. Anything that you feel compelled to do, do it. Don't be afraid. At first, Mary has been so great. I would call her, I am not getting anywhere with these guys. And I lived and breathed it. And I just felt like I had so much at risk. And then to see what they did, it was glorious. It was delicious. So don't give up. Don't give in. And your efforts are enough. It's enough. You just do what is in your realm to do. And I know that we'll make progress.